All right, if you are joining me right now, you are doing some intervention for solving equations. Okay, so know that the main thing with solving equations, everything needs to be on a side by itself with 0 on the other side, and then you can factor to solve. Okay, so looking at number 8 here, obviously 0 is not on a side by itself. Okay, so you have two options. You could move everything to the left or you can move everything to the right. I prefer to have the very leading term, so the one with the biggest exponent, I prefer it to be positive. So I like to move everything so that that number stays positive just because it takes one less step out of this, okay? So what that would mean is I would move this to the left and this to the left by changing its sign, okay? Because we have to do inverse operations. So we do 2x squared, we'd subtract the 20x over, add the 18 over, and set it equal to 0. Okay, and then just like factoring, we check for a GCF always. That's the first thing. I can see very clearly that all of these have a 2, and when I take that out, I get x squared minus 10x plus 9 equals 0. Okay, then I'm left with the remaining trinomial, which means try x method. On top I got 9, on bottom I got negative 10. Two things that multiply to 9 that will add to negative 10, negative 9, and negative 1. Okay, so I keep my 2 in the front. I could actually just go ahead and drop that down because I know it's going to be in my final equation that I then have to solve. And now I just do my x method. So x squared minus 9x minus 1x plus 9. We want to group. So we got x squared minus 9x together, plus sign, negative 1x plus 9. Kind of running out of room. X squared minus 9x, they both have an x. When I take that out, I'm left with x minus 9. The next two, negative 1x and 9. Leading term is negative. They both just have a 1, so I'll take out a negative 1. That makes the inside x minus 9. Perfect. And so now I have 2 times my outsides of x minus 1 times my insides of x minus 9 equals 0. And then I just break each of these apart, set them equal to 0, and that's how I find my solutions, okay? So 2 equals 0, well, no, that can't happen. That's not a factor, okay? X minus 1 equals 0, yes, I can solve that. X is 1, that's one answer. And then x minus 9 is 0, obviously I can solve that. X equals 9. I got 2 answers here, which is exactly what I wanted because my highest exponent was 2. Okay, moving on to number 9. A lot of people got confused on the problem like this on the test. So make sure we always check for a GCF first. Well, we move everything to one side, which is obviously already happened here. But then we check for a GCF. These both have a 5 and an x. When I take that out, I'm left with x minus 5, and I set it equal to 0. Okay, there's nothing left to do here. This is actually a pretty easy problem. Now I just have 2 factors that I break apart and set equal to 0 to get my 2 answers. Okay, here we would divide by the 5, x is just 0, and here we'd add 5, x is just 5. That's it. 2 answers, 2 answers. Number 10, we would try the x method on this one. We put our negative 10 at the top, negative 6 at the bottom. We think, can we get 2 numbers that multiply to negative 10 that will add to negative 6? And we will sit here and think about it all day if we have to, because it's not going to work, which means I need to do quadratic formula. So, not a hard process. Don't overcomplicate it. Just go ahead, tell what A is, tell what B is, tell what C is. So A is obviously the first number, that's 1. B is negative 6. C is negative 10. Okay, now I'm just plugging into the formula. So it's negative B, which means negative, and then my B, plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4 times A times C over 2 times A. Next step is just to solve what's underneath. Don't even worry about typing in that root symbol yet. We're not there yet. Okay, we just need to go ahead and type in our calculator exactly what's underneath there. So negative 6 squared in parentheses minus 4 times 1 times negative 10. And we get 76. So this becomes the square root of 76. In the front, a negative 6 is a positive 6. We keep our plus minus, and 2 times 1 is 2. We're almost done. We just need to see if we can break this down any further. 76, we think about factors of 76. 4 and 19 are the two that I got on my calculator to pop up first. Break that down. We're going to have a 2 that escapes jail, and the 19 stays in. So this becomes 6 plus or minus 2, square root of 19, over 2. We are almost done, but we know we can simplify outsides with outsides. 6, 2, and 2 all have a 2, so I'm just going to divide each of them by 2. And when I do that, the 6 becomes 3, plus or minus 2 divided by 2 is just a 1 square root of 19, and over 1, which I don't need to write. So there we go. That's it. Those are my two answers. 3 plus the square root of 19 and 3 minus the square root of 19. Okay. Number 11. So we've got a square root equation. So this is a little different. We don't want to move everything to one side because we've got the square root. So we can't do that until we take care of that. So we want the square root isolated. That's what we did in Unit 2 when we solved these equations. We get the square root on a side by itself. In this case it is. Okay. And then we know that to cancel out a square root, we can square. But if we do something on the right side, we got to do it on the left too. So this becomes x squared on the left equals, and then these signs just cancel to give me just what's underneath. Okay? Now we just need everything to be on one side. Again, I prefer to have the highest exponent to be positive, so I'm going to leave that over there. And to move everything to the left, I would add the x, subtract the 12. Trinomial. Now we're doing next method. Negative 12, 1. Two things that multiply to negative 12 add to 1. I know it's going to be 4 and 3, but the 3's got to be negative. X squared plus 4x minus 3x minus 12. Group them. X squared and 4x both have an x. Negative 3x, negative 12 both have a negative 3. Parentheses match. So my two factors are x minus 3, x plus 4. And then I just break them both apart. So x minus 3 equals 0 means x equals 3. And x plus 4 equals 0 means x equals negative 4. That's it. Okay. Changing from standard form to vertex form. Okay. So the easiest thing here is we know that we need A, H, and K to get into vertex form. So A is going to be the same thing as what it would be with quadratic formula. So it's just a 1. Okay. H, we would find that by doing negative B over 2A. So we just said A was 1. B is going to be 6, so negative 6. And this would simplify to give me negative 3. And then K would be just plugging in H. So we plug in that negative 3. Just do that in a calculator, exactly how it reads. Gives me negative 7. So now I have A, H, and K. I know that vertex form looks like this. So I just plug in the numbers that I have. Y equals 1. I don't even necessarily need to write the 1 because it's invisible. Minus H, but know that H again is the one we got to flip the sign on. So if it looks like a negative 3, it's actually positive. And then K is a minus 7. And that's it. Okay. Then we've got changing from vertex to standard. This is actually the easier method, I think, or the easier way to go. We just expand that x plus 2 that's being squared, and we FOIL it out. So x times x times 2, 2 times x, 2 times 2. Combine like terms, x squared plus 4x, and 4 minus 4 is actually just 0. So this is my final answer. And that's it. All right, so if you have completed this, now you're moving on to step 2. So complete those problems on your own, check them with the answer key, and then let the teacher know when you're ready for a retake.